Welcome to our channel. Please subscribe for more videos. Emma adjusts the worn fabric of her apron, a habit she'd formed out of necessity rather than fondness. For the past 6 months, this modest café had been her sanctuary and her battlefield. Sanctuary. Because it provided her with a modest income that allowed her to tread water financially while chasing her dreams of becoming a nurse. Battlefield. Because working here was akin to navigating a war zone. Emma often felt unseen and undervalued. In a place where baristas were revered as the unsung heroes of caffeine addiction, she was treated like a second-class citizen, remembered the day vividly. The crisp autumn air, the crunch of fallen leaves beneath her feet, and the weight of her mother's final letter in her pocket. That day, she'd vowed to make a change. Renting a small room in an apartment shared by other young dreamers, she juggled multiple jobs to put herself through nursing school. Working at this cafe was both a means to an end and a humbling experience. Her co-workers, seasoned veterans of the coffee wars, tolerated her presence, but rarely offered a helping hand. And the customers could be a relentless horde, ready to pounce on any slip of the latte art, for which they paid dearly. Then there were the regular customers, people like Mrs. Peterson, who ordered the same chamomile tea every Tuesday and never failed to critique Emma's pouring skills. Or Mr. Collins, who seemingly had nothing better to do than observe how much sugar Emma added to his cappuccino. Each customer had a story, a preference, a quirk, a miniature drama that played out daily behind the counter. As the weeks turned into months, Emma's resilience grew. Like a seed pushing through concrete, her spirit refused to be crushed by the indifference around her. However, there were days when the weight of it all threatened to suffocate her. Days like today? Today, a new customer had arrived, a stark reminder of the life she was trying to leave behind. The newcomer was tall, his shoulders broad, his features sharp, and his presence commanding. He stood out in a sea of regulars like a shark spotting a vulnerable fish. No sooner had he entered than the whispers started. "Who's the new guy? Heard he just moved into town. Seems like trouble to me." Emma knew instinctively that these whispers were right. Trouble. This man was trouble. He sat down at the counter, his gaze unwavering, his presence unsettling. Emma felt a chill run down her spine. Something about him made her uneasy. Almost without thinking, she found herself pouring extra cream into his coffee, hoping the distraction would buy her some time, but it was too late. The whispers had already reached him. "Miss Emma," Mr. Collins piped up, unable to resist the urge to eavesdrop. "Fancy meeting you here." Emma forced a polite smile. "Mr. Collins, what brings you here?" "Just getting my caffeine fix, of course," he replied, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "But tell me, how's it going? Are you keeping busy?" His gaze flicked towards the new man who was watching them intently. Busy. What was she doing? Pouring coffee for a man who seemed to have stepped out of a spy movie? Emma stammered, realizing she had nothing witty to reply. Just then, the man cleared his throat, drawing everyone's attention. "Excuse me," he said, his voice low and resonant, "but I think I'll get my own coffee today." Emma nodded, relieved to break the tension. "Of course, sir. Would you like anything else?" "No, thank you." He paid in cash, his fingers brushing against hers, sending a jolt of electricity through her. As he turned to leave, he paused. "Wait," he said, his eyes locking onto hers. "Could you help me with something?" Before Emma could respond, Mr. Collins chimed in, his voice dripping with faux concern. "Are you sure you're up for that, Miss Emma? Maybe I could lend a hand?" The man's gaze shifted to Mr. Collins, a flash of warning in his eyes. "No, it's fine," he said, his voice dangerously calm. "I'll take care of it myself." With that, he led Emma to the back of the cafe, leaving the rest of the staff and customers gaping in surprise. In the storage room, amidst the clutter of forgotten coffee mugs and pastry boxes, the man turned to Emma. He was closer now, his features sharper in the dim light. "I need your phone number," he said, extending a hand. Startled by the directness, Emma hesitated for a moment before reaching out. Their fingers met, and a spark seemed to jump between them. When she pulled away, she noticed a silver band on his finger. Startled, she asked, "Are you married?" He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Divorced. That's not important right now. Can you meet me tonight? There's something I need your help with." Emma's mind raced. She wanted to refuse, to turn away and leave him to his schemes. But something in his eyes held her captive. Was it desperation, a hint of vulnerability, or simply the power he exuded? Whatever it was, she found herself agreeing. Dow. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Emma couldn't shake off the feeling that she had just signed herself up for something she didn't fully understand. Night fell, and with it, Emma's apprehension grew. She stood in front of the mirror, weighing the thin fabric of her dress against the weight of her decision. Should she call it off? Pretend that she was too busy, too innocent for whatever this man had in mind? But then she thought about the loneliness that had become her constant companion. The echo of her mother's laughter in her empty apartment, the silence that stretched on endlessly during those lonely nights. Maybe a distraction was exactly what she needed. Maybe a night of adventure would break the monotony of her routine. When the bell above the door chimed, announcing her visitor, Emma was a mix of nervous anticipation and dread. Standing before her was the man from the café, even more enigmatic in the soft glow of dusk. He wore a dark suit that accentuated his broad shoulders and narrow waist, giving him the air of a man who knew how to command a room. His tie was loosened, hinting at the controlled chaos that simmered beneath his composed exterior. Without waiting for Emma to speak, he said, "I'm sorry for springing this on you, but I couldn't wait till tomorrow. Time's a bit tight." He gestured for her to lead the way. "Where are we going?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "Just follow me," he replied, his eyes focused on the road ahead. They drove in comfortable silence, the city lights blurring into streaks of color. Eventually, they stopped in front of a building that looked like it had seen better days. Neon flickered from signs hanging precariously from the facade. "Here," he said, turning to face her. "Promise me you won't scream." Emma swallowed, her throat suddenly dry. "I promise." He leaned in close, his voice a low murmur. "Whatever happens tonight, don't ask questions. Just go along with it." The interior of the building was dimly lit, smelling faintly of stale waste and stale dreams. They walked down a narrow corridor until they reached a door at the end. He knocked 3 times, then waited. A voice from behind the door spoke. "Who is it? It's me," the man replied. The door creaked open, revealing a figure silhouetted against the dim light. "You came," the figure said, stepping aside to let them enter. The room beyond was small, cluttered with mismatched furniture. A lone bulb hung from the ceiling, casting harsh shadows that danced on the walls. A man sat slumped in a chair, his head resting on his hand. "Dad," the newcomer said, rising from his seat. The sight before Emma was like something out of a faded film noir. Here in this shadowy den, she saw not just a tough guy in a rum family, but a glimpse of lives lived on the edge, of choices made and paths taken. And in that moment, she understood that she wasn't just a witness. She was part of this story now. To be continued. To see the next part, click on the video in the description below.